Hey guys, welcome back to The Geneva Diaries. I am your host Juliet, and today we are having our Monday motivation series. So, you guys, I know it's Tuesday. Apologies for that. There has been a lot of commotion in our country, Kenya, and so we were not able to shoot for you today. But nonetheless, Monday motivation comes on Tuesday, enough to keep you going. So, we have been doing a series in Job, and today we'll be doing Job chapter 5 and 6. But before we start, please make sure you subscribe, and thank you so much for 231 subscribers. We really appreciate, and we'll start doing post notification shout outs. So stay in the loop, and you could get the next shout out. In the meantime, he's going to take us through Job chapter 5.
Well, thank you so much for creating time to be on our page today. So we'll dive directly into the word, and we are continuing with the series. And in chapter 5, it's very interesting because the mockery continues. As we saw in chapter 4, the friends of Job were mocking him, and in chapter 5, now it's elevated. Now they take it to Job and remind him, okay, Job, you have actually lost your children. Like, you are not safe. They just died. You have lost your animals. And they remind Job that, okay, Job, everything has a root cause. And I will just read it from verse 6 where it says, for hardship does not spring from the soil. In this, they are trying to mean, okay, everything has a root cause. And therefore, the problem that Job is actually going through has a root cause. And when we move forward, we get it. They actually tell him, if I were you, that is Eliphaz now talking to Job, like, if I were you, I will appeal to God and lay my case to God. Why does he say this? It means to him, he thinks that actually Job is hiding something. There is a sin that Job is hiding that he does not want to put clear, and that is the cause of all the miseries he is going through. But when we move forward, they kind of encourage Job. And I will quote it directly from verse 17, where they say, blessed is the one whom God corrects and does not despise the discipline of the Almighty. Why does Eliphaz say this anyway? He says this because he feels like, okay, Job, inasmuch as you have sinned, God corrects. And to them, this was a form of correction that Job was actually going through a lot, because now God was now correcting him. His wrath was on Job. And when we move forward towards the end of chapter 5, the friends tells him, actually, we have sat down with you and we have studied that the problem you are having is actually because of sin. And what you need to do is just be honest about it and pray to God. And actually, these problems might actually come to an end. But Job comes in very well in chapter 6.
What an interesting exchange between Job and Eliphaz that started right at chapter 3, when Job first expressed his feeling and he was complaining and cursing the day he was born. So in chapter 6, Job actually defends what he did in chapter 3, not really defending, but trying to make Eliphaz understand that if only you could weigh my anguish, if only it could be put in the scale, then maybe you could have understood where I am coming from. And then you could have also understood why I used rash and impetuous words in chapter 3. And then he tells Eliphaz, you know what? I feel like the arrows of God have pierced me. In other words, Job felt like God had really cursed him and he was going through so much pain. And then he tells Eliphaz, you know, I'm not complaining for no reason. And he uses an analogy of a donkey and an ox. And he tells him that a donkey does not bray when it has enough grass, nor does an ox bellow when there is enough fodder. So my complaining is because of a reason, and that reason is because of the pain that I'm going through. And he goes ahead and talks about almost what he said in chapter 3, and being like, God, I wish you could have just crushed me and just let me lose off your hand, let me die. And you know, he goes ahead to complain and express his wish to God and saying, just let me die. You know, that is what I could have, that is the consolation that I need right now. But he also tells Eliphaz, what strength do you think I have? Is my strength that of stones? Is my body made of bronze? In other words, I know I have been consoling you, but you shouldn't look at me as a motivational speaker. I am human, and this pain that I'm going through is just way too much. And then he goes ahead and talks about, I wish you were kind. And this I am paraphrasing, but let me read the exact words real quick. He says that anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as the streams that overflow. In other words, he says, the least I expect from you, Eliphaz, right now is kindness. In other words, he says, the least thing that I expect from you right now, Eliphaz, is kindness. You should express some kindness to me at this time instead of complaining and starting to talk about things that you do not understand, because clearly he had a wrong analysis of Job's situation. He was just working on assumption and things he could see from the surface. And he talks about the independable nature of the friendship, or rather of their brotherhood, which he describes to that of an intermittent stream. After that, Job talks about, have I ever said, give something on my behalf or pay a ransom for me from my wealth? You see, what he's trying to say here is, Eliphaz, I have never asked you to pay me back my wealth. We've spent time together, but I've never demanded anything from you. All I need from you right now is purely consolation, comfort. That's all I need from you. And he goes ahead and talks about, teach me. And I love the humility of Job, because he knows these people are not lying, but he's still open to listen to them and hear what he says. Teach me and I will be quiet. Show me where I have been wrong. In other words, Eliphaz, you have been out here yapping and ranting, but you're not giving me any basis for what you're talking about. What is the proof of your accusation? And actually, that is how this chapter kind of ends, because he also tells them, do not be unjust, for my integrity is at stake. So he says, I am very conscious that whatever I'm going through right now has nothing to do with how I have lived my life. As a matter of fact, you cannot even show me what I have done. I am right with God. Not even in my pain have I cursed God. And that is such a powerful way that Job handled this reply. So what are some of the key lessons that you have picked?
Okay, I think I'll talk about chapter 5, which is about the accusations and the mockery which goes on from Eliphaz, who is seen talking a lot in this chapter. And I think what I learned from this is at the point where you are suffering, at the point as a Christian where you are going through different kind of situations, your friends who, as a Christian, you have those people you trust a lot. Maybe those prayer partners, those people you share the word with a lot. But as humans, they kind of think at times, okay, I think there's something he has done and he is not telling us, or he or she is not telling us. So what do you pick? What do you pick as a Christian? Do you remain steadfast, or do you allow yourself to be waved away by what they think? And I think that is what Job really does in chapter 6. He expresses steadfastness, and I think that really stood out for me.
Amazing. I think from chapter 6 there are a lot of lessons to learn. First of all is to see how much grace and humility Job uses to handle this whole exchange between himself and Eliphaz. One thing I like about Job is he's not directly, Eliphaz, you do this and this is wrong. He's kind of generalizing, probably out of humility, but also he does not want to hurt Eliphaz the way Eliphaz is making him feel. So that teaches me really how to be graceful in handling difficult and challenging situations. Number 2 is I look at what Job was talking about when he rephrased kind of what he went through in chapter 3, and he was asking God to just let him die, but this was not an unanswered prayer. And what I pick there is sometimes as Christians we can be going through difficult situations and we think that by God taking us away out of this earth, that will be a consolation and a solution. That is what Job thought. But come to think of it, at the end of it all, it was actually very worth it. So in times of trials and tribulations, let us hang in prayers. Let us keep praying. Let us keep being patient. Because when we finally understand God's intention, then we will be grateful that He did not honor our wish. Another thing that I really learned from this chapter is that let us be steadfast. I think you've mentioned it quite well.
I did.
But do not just buy into everything that everyone is telling you. Just because they are telling you that you are wrong doesn't mean you're wrong. But let us also embrace humility as Job and try to understand, why are you saying this about me? They might have a reason, but in Job's case, they did not have any proof to say Job was wrong and Job sinned, and that is why he was going through that. So he remained steadfast, but also handled this situation very gracefully. All right, thank you so much, guys. That is the end of our very quick reflection of Job chapter 5 and 6. We hope that that was really impactful to you as it was to us. Yes, and we hope that this blessed you and has given you the energy to keep on going, but also given you a reason to remain steadfast in your faith and never to give up. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share this video. Let us get a good number of people listening to this really good news of Jesus Christ. Thank you so much, and let's meet again on
Thursday
for our motivation series.
But don't forget to pass by on Wednesday. There's some good fun for you guys to cheer you up at the middle of the week.
Yes, like we mentioned, we are all about inspiration, fun, and faith. Stay tuned. I have been your host, Juliet, and this is Monday Motivation by Dajan Ibadaris.